Camarines Norte State College Entienza Campus, Teacher Education Department, Santa Elena, Camarines Norte. A pleasant day everyone, my name is John Liderillama, researcher, presenter of this group. And our research entitled Development and Acceptability of Conceptualized Visual Learning Lessons on Basic Fundamental Operations Using Visual Patterns in Numeracy Education. The following are the background of the study. So first is advanced teaching approach. So in today's new normal education system, we have digital tool that is essential in terms of knowledge or using it in a teaching process. So second is distance learning. So we all know that this pandemic has affected a lot of sector, including the education sector, where students are not able to go to school to study. So third one is the learning difficulties in mathematics. So certain students, particularly in the field of mathematics, they find it as the most challenging subject. That's why the researchers come up with the development of visual learning lessons in solving basic operations. So the purpose of this study is to develop visual learning lessons that showcase different problem-solving methods using the existing visual patterns and techniques in numeracy education, manipulation of the basic math operations such as the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So for the significance of the study, the findings of this research will benefit the following. So first is the students. So this video lesson will provide further information on how to solve the 4 basic operations in various ways. So for the teachers, teacher may use these visual learning instructions as a reference to better understand the learning requirements of their students. So for future researchers, the research will serve as a cross-reference for the development of further visual learning tutorials, particularly in mathematics. So for our research objectives, so first, determine the different existing patterns and methods for solving integers using the 4 basic operations at the intermediate level. So second is validation of the developed visual learning lessons and activity materials based on the identified different existing patterns and methods in solving integers. So the researcher used the validated tool such as the content design of the material, quality of learning material, usefulness of learning material, and appropriateness of the content. So for our last objective, modification and enhancement of the proposed learning material based on the comments, suggestions, and recommendations of the selected teacher expert. So next is the methodology. So for the research design, this study utilized the descriptive qualitative research design. The researchers descriptively evaluate the developed conceptual visual learning lessons of the study. So qualitative approach used by means of in-depth analysis. The researchers followed the following step based on the result of the relevant significance of the study. So the researchers begin to first analyze the existing patterns and methods of fundamental operations and their various solutions. So number 2, identify the best strategies. Number 3, develop themes, collect potential significant features to incorporate from existing patterns and methods. So 4, conduct an analysis citing relevant studies that support the existing features to be adopted. So next is the research instrument. So the researchers use the validated rubric instrument to assess the level of acceptability of the developed learning lessons. The instrument validated by our research advisor and selected panel during our research proposal. So for the statistical treatment, the researchers coded entailed the statistical procedures and performed data analysis and interpretation. So the researchers used the percentage approach and weighted mean to quantify and interpret the data descriptively. So for our research respondents, the researchers selected proposing 5 teachers expert evaluators along Calawag, Quezon. So using the following criteria. So letter A, mathematics teacher. Letter B, at least 2 years in up teaching experience in secondary or primary levels. Letter C, has master's or doctoral degree preferable. Letter D, have at least background knowledge in the doing or creating learning materials. And the following are the selected experts. So for expert A, 4 years of teaching mathematics. Expert B, 23 years of teaching mathematics, expert C 4 years of teaching mathematics, expert D 8 years of teaching mathematics, expert E 4 years of teaching mathematics. The researchers presented the proposed conceptualized video learning tutorial and conducted the following procedures. So collected all the comments and suggestions from the evaluators, arranged and linked the data that was collected, and coded the data by theme. So for the results and discussion, so first is the existing patterns and methods in solving integers using the 4 basic operation. So here is the table. So for addition, here is the adopted patterns and methods. So first is add the tens first, group the tens. So it is mental math addition strategies underlying 2-digit numbers. So here is the actual output of the study. So for subtraction, so first, subtraction of the teens. It's a fast trick that involves subtracting digits from teens. So here is the actual output. And second one is breaking down technique. It is the minuend and the subtrahend reduce the amount into small number. So for the actual output. So the third one is the multiplication. So existing pattern and methods that the researchers adopted is the Japanese multiplication techniques. It is a line diagram technique that aids in mathematics and involves substituting numbers for lines. So for the actual output. And last, we have box method for division. It's quite similar for traditional long division but has an ended benefit of organization. So for the actual output. So for the level of acceptability of the evaluators about the proposed video lessons, the researchers use the interpretation very satisfied, satisfied, poor, and not satisfied. So here is the table. So the following are the indicators: content design of the learning material, quality of learning material, the usefulness of learning material, appropriateness of the learning material. So based on the result, all indicators of the developed video learning lessons is very satisfied. The mathematics teachers expert accepted the developed video lessons based on the computed overall mean 3.7, very satisfied. So for modification of the proposed supplementary materials in solving 4 basic operations in different ways, so the mathematics teachers were asked for suggestions and recommendations on how to improve the video lesson. So here are the modifications. So for criteria, content design of learning material, we have each example will get a short explanation since it is fresh to the learners. Increase the size of handwriting and utilize the available area to make it more legible for the students. So for quality learning material, maximize the available area and examine the background voice. The usefulness of learning material, key stage 3 would benefit greatly from reviewing the idea of doing simple operations in numerous ways manually, given the reliance on calculator. The material is relevant and simple to comprehend. So for the last one is the appropriateness of the contents. Separate video for each operation and discussion. So for the conclusion of our study, so based on the study's result, adapting and integrating problem-solving patterns and strategies into the suggested video learning lesson might be beneficial for blended and remote learning education. Moreover, the concept of the visual learning process could be boosted and included as a strategy in blended and remote learning education. So for the recommendations, so this study will undergo the utilization of this material to determine the effects or impact to the target user, which is the student. So that's all for our research presentation. Once again, a pleasant day, everyone.